Yeah, I want to give a difference between real leadership and glorification leadership. You know, there's a lot of people I keep seeing on the alternative media that constantly are saying that the sky's going to fall, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, oh, whoa, this, and the bad guys are after us and stuff. And they actually take no action or offer any kind of solutions other than drama. And they're doing it for profit, right? Now, I want people to actually have a lot more faith in the American system versus tearing it down all the time, because I'm going to highlight something. And actually, you know, you could see a lot of this even in the military. And a lot of people that weren't in the military, they have this attitude what the military is, and other people, you know, it's almost like they got the idea of what the military is from movies and things, right? But I could tell you, like, for instance, even in the Marine Corps, there is not so much of a difference or division between the officer corps and the enlisted corps as you will see in other countries. People actually have, the entire organization works together as a team. It's not like you glorify the leader. And if you actually go to other countries, maybe like Russia or China, it's like the officers are like, they think they're gods. I mean, they really do. They got egos out to the max. To the max. And that's usually how it is in most other countries. But our military almost reflects our American laissez-faire, you know, kind of almost lax attitude, but we get the job done right anyway. You know, that's the whole deal. And it's not about glorification of an individual. Just like with the president, we don't glorify the president, the man, and we don't actually glorify the office even. We don't. It's a job that he does. You know, what we've actually put first is the Bill of Rights, and actually everybody in the military does understand what the Bill of Rights are. So, you know, all these freaking doomsdayers, they make me want to puke freaking most of the time, because they really get me pissed off. To tell you the truth, right? But you know, actually, our American system goes back almost to the ancient Roman system in a lot of ways. And our Western system, actually, you know, there's some bugs in here because there's cats up here, if you see them flying around in this video. Our Western system, my new cat, Caesar. I call him Caesar, you know. Why do I call him Caesar? Because probably I read too many books on the Romans. But our Western system does go back to the ancient Roman system in a lot of ways. And the attitude, even then, was a lot different from the satraps of Persia. You know, to give you an example, you know, they used to have, and they still have this, it's almost like they have all these titles of dignity and all this kind of garbage in Persia, or they might have it even in the UK. You know, what do we do in the United States? We reject that stuff. We reject that stuff. You know, we don't care what the hell you are. You know? Just talk to me like a person. You know, that's basically what it is. But even in the Roman military, it was that way too in a lot of ways, because it was even the emperor himself, to give you an example, Probus. The only thing that distinguished him as the emperor, he was right there with the troops exactly, was that he had a cloak out of purple, violet, purple coarse garment, that the color of it actually designated that he was the emperor. That was the only thing. Didn't have, like, you know, 50 million gold bands around him and all this kind of garbage like that, with all kinds of titles like the Persians. And when the Persians went to talk to him, basically what Probus told them, that if they violated the treaty in any way, shape, or form, that their land would be destitute of trees, as there were hairs on his head, and Probus was completely bald. So basically what they would have done to Persia was with the same thing they would have done to Carthage. And, you know, that's actually the spirit of America all the way. But let me say again, the attitude between the people that are leaders in America and the people that are maybe not the leaders, but, you know, they're partaking in the system and working as a team, there's not that big division like you see like in other countries. It's even reflected in the military. It's not like, even in the Marine Corps, where you have, officers, there's not like this extreme elitist attitude. There's a division between officers and enlisted, but there's a hell of a lot more teamwork going on than in other countries. It's almost like in other places, in other militaries, there's a major division between the officers and the enlisted in attitude. Officers actually, if you actually see the attitude of some of the, I don't want to knock them too much, but if you see some of the attitude of the Russian officers, holy smokes. God on earth. Enlisted are nothing. They're garbage. Total. Then it's like reflected that way throughout the culture. And that's something that's abhorrent to the American way of life. Because the American way of life is about protecting the individual. The individual has rights, and we have the Bill of Rights to limit the government's powers over the individual. The individual inherently has rights. That is why we have a very, very different way of thinking from the rest of the people. And a lot of times people like to throw out like, our leader is this and your leader is that. Well, you missed the point. You totally missed the point. So, anyway, just want to have people keep faith in the system itself. And, we could talk about, all the stuff that goes on that's bad. Yeah, I know we could say Bush and Cheney or Obama or whatever, Bill Clinton or even Ronald Reagan. I don't give a shit. The whole point is you stick with your Bill of Rights. And you don't need to get behind Alex Jones or David Icke, because I think they're false leadership all the way. You don't need to be led around by the nose. You just got to stick with those 10 Bill of Rights more than anything. And make sure, they're applied to everybody else too, not just yourself. So, our attitude that we have in the United States, actually a lot of it does come from ancient Rome. A lot of it does. And it's not about, glorifying an individual. It's about upholding a fair and equitable law. That's what it's about. If you don't see that in other countries really do have far more elitists than others. And like I've been harping on all along, the way to actually starve the elitist is not to play their game. Don't play their game. Be independent. Stand on your own 2 feet. So, just want to point out again that American leadership is far different from other people in other countries. So you'll actually see it in the military. You'll see it reflected in the military too. So it's back to, we work together as a team. We don't work together as glorifying an individual. That's a major difference between the American way and the way of other countries, maybe China, Russia, or Persia.